Vicky Kaseorg and her book, The Tower Builder, is our presentation today. I want to welcome everybody, and our seating is limited, but I see that today we don't need to worry about that because everybody really wants to stand up. And I want to thank you for braving the weather and coming out here on this chilly fall evening to hear a wonderful author talk about her book. I am Antonio Argive. I'm Managing Principal at Meridian Design Associate Architects, and I am very pleased to have this great author and a great friend. And we have a unique opportunity today. Not only do we have the author, we have the protagonist. And I'm going to go into that in a second. Hope you all enjoyed the wine and cheese, and that you had your book signed. If you didn't, we're going to have another book signing session afterwards. Maybe I can convince you to buy the book if you haven't yet. For those of you that are joining us for the first time for book signing, we've done a whole bunch of these, if you don't know. For the next hour or so, we're going to be having a presentation. And during that time, I respectfully request that you refrain from speaking. That means not talking. I know her book is not controversial, so we don't expect the crowd to go crazy, okay? So, but please, just don't talk, okay? We're not using microphones, as you can notice. So, I will speak for a few short minutes, and then I'm going to turn it over. But just so you know, at some point, there will be a question and answer period. That will be your chance to make a concise, to the point question. Not an opportunity for a monologue, okay? So, afterwards, we go back to mixing, having a drink, and getting, of course, more books sold. Okay, we're very fortunate to have, as I mentioned, Tony Fonseca, who is the protagonist in the book, the Tower Man, and Vicky Kaseorg, who is our author. And I wanted to point out that we've had the honor, actually, of working with Tony in the past, and in a professional capacity. And we came across Tony in doing a very challenging project for the Empire State Building. They had a tower up on top, and they didn't know very well what was up there, so they had a request for proposals for a team of people to go and measure and survey and create a computer model. And Shane, who represents the Empire State Building, is visiting with us today, and Tony is in charge of climbing that tower. He is the tower guy. So Luis Rogers, a principal at Meridian Design Associates, struck a friendship with Tony, and that's who we have to thank for Tony being here today with this wonderful book. Luis was directly responsible for he being here, but I wanted to speak a little bit about Vicky and not get into too much detail because I want her to really tell the story. She began her career as an artist and an author. From early on, she was a writer. She did study occupational therapy and had a very successful practice in upstate New York for many years. And she's a very athletic woman. She's been in marathons. She's backed across the United States. Very interesting person. I can't tell you enough. I want you to, afterwards, go talk to her, and after buying a book, engage her in conversation. By the way, she's got 10 books under her belt, and most of them have made #1 in Amazon, as this one has. And the consistency in the books is that she explores the extraordinary aspects of our life through the everyday things that we live. And that is very touching to me. It's a very sensitive way to look at things. So, especially when you look at it through her eyes. It's a wonderful read. This book is not religious, but explicitly, but it is at the core. It expresses a very strong belief in God and how He touches our lives. So I have deep respect for her in that regard. I could go on, okay? So I'm going to just keep it short, and without further delay, introduce Vicky Kaseorg and encourage anyone that likes her story and likes anything to do with what I just said to come afterwards and purchase the book. So thank you very much. Sit down. Vicky, it's all yours.
Thank thank you so much for that great introduction, and thank you so much to Meridian Design for doing this and hosting this wonderful event. This is such a thrill for me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm not from the city, and just being in the city has been an incredible day. But before I tell you my story, I want to introduce my brother John, and he's going to say just a few words, because without John, this book would never have happened, and you'll find out why. But so he's just going to speak briefly first.
Well, about 10 years ago, I had asked my sister Vicky, who lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, to go visit some radio towers and specifically take a picture of the base insulator of the tower, which is a ceramic cone that holds a couple hundred tons of steel. Because I was, for whatever reason, there's a variety of reasons which I won't go into, I was fascinated by that. To my disbelief, she took up the challenge. She contacted the radio station. She got a tour of the towers, and she started digging into some questions and just unfolded this plethora of fascinating material. Originally, I had sent her out there. I had intended to write a magazine article about the WBT radio tower array. Once she got back and we started talking about some of the things that she found, I really twisted her arm and said, I really think you should write a book about this. There's some people that were connected to this tower project, and that story needs to be told. I could have done it. It would have been an engineer by trade. It would have been a clinical, sterile description of what was going on in Charlotte with WBT. But I wanted Vicky to do it from a non-engineering, non-technical perspective and get her take on it, because she's a wonderful author and a wonderful writer. And I wanted to see her go through this journey and kind of understand engineering. That was my hope anyway. Well, in the end, I think she achieved that, and she achieved that in spades. I'm very proud of her, so congratulations. You'll love the book, it's a great one.